Hello, Stone here with Actionable. I'm going to teach you how to estimate within the Actionable Profile. At this point, Cole has helped you get set up with an account with us. He's helped you get connected with Verisk so that you're ready to go. He's taught you how to sync so that you have access to the profile within your Xactimate. We're going to jump into an estimate and we're going to show you all of the workings. So here in the top of the screen, I'm going to go ahead and click on New Project. At this point, because you've synced and updated, refreshed your account, you have access to the actionable profile. If you do not see this, please refer back to the video on syncing. If you have any other questions beyond that, support@getinsights.org will get you taken care of. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new estimate. We're going to go ahead and call this Actionable Profile, and I'm going to hit Create down here in the bottom right of that dialog box. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Open Project button. We'll wait for this to open up. I've got multiple screens, so this is opened up off on the other screen. I just got it drug over. We're going to go ahead and pick a price list. And then we're going to set up our tax jurisdiction. And I'm going to go ahead and enlarge the screen so that we can see everything. So right now, right off the bat here on the right side of the screen, you see this. This is called the Exact Expert drawer. This is where our guidance lives. This is where everything is going to populate, showing you what potentially could be an overage or omission in your estimate. We have this currently set to where you have to enable it once you're ready to follow the guidance. Here in a moment, I'm going to go ahead and click on this so that you can see the rules engine running in real time. The reason we've done this is so that you can go up here, collapse this drawer, you can go ahead and estimate as you would normally, and then once you're done, you can open this up, you can enable the Exact Expert Review, and that gives us a clear delta for reporting purposes of where your estimate started versus where the estimate is once you are done reviewing all of the guidance within the profile. That way we have that clear delta and the impact of the profile. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this button now to enable it so that I can show you the workings of the engine. You see a couple of things up here now. You see a tab for violations, warnings, and cautions. There's also a little key here with a legend. I'm going to click on that. We'll zoom in and go through this. Violations, those are something that has to be done before you can proceed, before you could mark complete, before you can print an estimate. Warnings, they can be resolved or they can be bypassed, provided a reason why you're bypassing these. These are going to be instances, say, if you've used a line item incorrectly or you've done a calculation wrong or something just isn't quite right, something that would be a red flag right off the bat. Cautions are typically potential omissions, so based off of your scope, these additional things might be warranted, or you might need to look at these as they may be related. And then this is the icon for bypass. If that guidance is not relevant to you, you can completely bypass it to get rid of it. I'm going to close out of this. We do have a couple of violations with the actionable profile, much less than the carrier profile. We want this to be easy, expedient, fast for you to get through, so we only require a couple of things. And these are hyperlinked, so if I click on date received as empty, it's going to jump me over to the claim info, insured info tab. And what I can do is I can go ahead and just double click in these spots just to fill in dates, and you can see that those have went away. The actionable profile does have access to a new feature, and that's the water category cat and class dialog fields. I'm going to go ahead and just put in category 2 for the example. With the actionable profile, you have access to IICRC guidance as far as equipment calculations. Think for air movers, dehumidifiers, negative air machines. And we have one more violation left. That is the labor minimums tab review. As we teach in our best practices bootcamp and any of our other private teaching sessions, there's a lot of contention around labor minimums, specifically in this tab, because you can't document them. You can't put an F9 note on this. So you need to at least visit this before you complete or print your estimate, just to make sure that everything is the way that it should be. Right now, we don't have anything there because we don't have any line items yet, but since we have visited that tab, this will go away as soon as I start putting line items in my scope. I'm going to go right off the bat. I'm going to drop a line item in here. DRY 1/2 minus. We do a lot of drywall repairs in this industry, right? I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And right off the bat, I'm just going to ignore this. We're not going to put a calculation in, so I can show you something. So I have a line item in. You can see that violation has went away because we did look at the labor minimum tab, but now we have a warning. Now we have a caution, 3 cautions over here. I'm going to click on the warning tab. We're going to look at this. 0 quantity or unit price. So this is saying, hey, we see you put a line item in here, but you did not update the quantity. So that's an easy mistake. And quite honestly, when I got rushed during my career as an estimator, this was an embarrassing mistake that I did more than once. You don't want to get an estimate done, send it out, and then you realize you just simply didn't update a quantity. You know, that's an immediate supplement. That's a pain for everybody. So update this quantity. In this case, to show you some more in-depth guidance of the actionable profile, I'm actually going to go ahead and drop a room in here. Jump back to my estimate items tab, and I'll put these line items in here. DRY 1/2 minus. And since this is a variable based line item, it's going to go ahead and populate that based off the square footage of the walls and ceilings of this room. So we've got 1 warning right now. We have 5 cautions. You can click between these to view everything. You can also click on it again to expand and collapse the guidance if you just want to see the titles, or if you want to see everything in depth, you just click on it again. In this case, drywall activities may warrant the inclusion of dust control barriers. This is a fun one. This is a brand new set of line items brought to Xactimate by the pricing department. They've listened to user feedback like you. They acknowledge that, hey, if you're doing drywall repairs in the middle of a property and it's still occupied, you have to mitigate the severity of that loss. You can't cross-contaminate. You don't want to get drywall dust somewhere that it's not supposed to be. So we're going to use this new line item in this example, DRY. BARR, dust control barrier per square foot. I'm just going to go ahead and put 40 square feet in here just for this demonstration. That has resolved, but now that you see we have 2 additional warnings. Dust control barriers for drywall activities should include supporting documentation through an attached F9 note. In our teaching curriculum, we express the concept of answers before questions. Anything that's going to be a point of contention or something that you want whoever is reviewing your estimate to understand right off the bat, put that information in there. You don't want them to have to wonder why, send you an email, wait for that back and forth. The more clear and concise your scope is from the onset, the faster that claim cycle is going to be, the more quickly you're going to get approval. So in this case, yes, I have dust control. Let's say for my example purposes, this is a residential home. The client is still living in the home. We don't want to fill up the rest of their house with drywall dust. Going to drop this in here, close that. That warning has resolved. That has went away. Now we have 1 more that's still here. Dust control barriers for drywall activities may warrant tension poles or peel and seal zippers. So this makes sense. We do have a dust control barrier, but we don't have a zipper, so we don't have any way to get in that containment space. That's definitely something that we need. Glad that's got mentioned. Sometimes when you're estimating, you get in a rush, you forget things. That does happen. So we're going to drop this in here, DRYBARRZ. I'm going to hit OK. That has resolved. So right now our estimate has 0 violations, 0 warnings. I'm going to jump over here to the cautions tab. We're going to take a look at that. We've got 5. I'm going to click on this again just to collapse them all so we can look at all of this. Ready for texture drywall line items require additional texture. See, this is important. We do have the drywall line item hung, taped, ready for texture, but we don't have any texture in our estimate yet. DRYTEX. We're going to go ahead and add our texture. Keep that base calculation. You can see that's went away. Well, we have another related rule. Texture line items may warrant masking. We do have our brand new drywall. We do have our brand new texture, but we've not put down any masking. If you have competent and professional trades working within your property, they're going to put down some masking, some paper and tape, a tarp, something. You definitely want to account for that. So we're going to throw in DRYMASKLF, and we'll just keep that as the perimeter of the ceiling, just as the default. Hit OK. That's went away. Here's a fun one, and this is one that's missed quite often. PVA primer may be warranted on fresh drywall texture. We have our brand new drywall. We have our brand new texture, but that has to be primed so that you have proper paint adhesion, so that you don't have any flashing issues with your paint when you go to paint this room. P&T S-. We'll drop that in the estimate right now. Seal the walls and ceiling, PVA primer, 1 coat. Drop that in. That has resolved. But look, we have another warning here that's popped up. So I'm going to take a look at this. The quantity of drywall masking exceeds the perimeter of floor or is equal to the perimeter of the ceiling. See, this is an interesting one because it calls out sometimes, depending on your scope, depending on the room size, if you use these default calculations, you may be erroneously using a line item. So this is calling out that there is an issue there that may need to be taken care of to address your scope so that you don't have any issues or any revision requests to adjust this. So that gives you a great idea of the power of the profile. As you are working on your scope, as you are building it, this live estimating guidance in the warnings tab and the cautions tab is updating, and it sees the line items together and how they interrelate and how they interplay together, and also your sketch settings so that you have a more thorough and accurate scope. So let's say for the purposes of this demonstration, you're completely done. These are the line items that you agreed on with the estimator. You're ready to print the report. You're ready to send it out. We do still have an active warning and some cautions. Those need to be addressed so that you can hit the document report button so that you can print that out. You can individually select alerts and then hit bypass, or if you have a bunch of warnings, you click this button here. You can select them all, hit the bypass button, type in whatever your reason may be for the reason that you're bypassing them. Hit yes. That will bypass all of these. So once you have 0 warnings, 0 violations, you're ready to hit complete, you're ready to hit print on your report, and then you are good to go. If for some reason you want to undo this, you can individually highlight them, or you can click here and hit reset, and you can go back to following that guidance. You can expand and collapse this drawer, as I said before, just to have all of your estimating square footage available to you. So remember, when you start a new estimate, the Xactexpert review has not been enabled. So we advise that go ahead and complete your estimate, write it out as thoroughly as you can, as you normally do, and then when you're ready to follow the guidance of the actionable profile, expand this, click on that Xactexpert review, and that's going to create the trigger for the reporting. So we'll be able to see everything that has been completed, adjusted, modified based off of your review of the profile. Thanks, guys.